In March 2019, Lisa Wiese, a 31-year-old mother of two from northern Germany, boarded a plane to India. To her family, it was a spiritual journey, an attempt to recharge, reflect, and find peace after years of personal turbulence. She had told them she'd be staying at a renowned ashram in Kerala, the same peaceful sanctuary that had once offered her clarity nearly a decade earlier. But Lisa never checked in. Days later, she vanished. Her last known sighting, a beach resort near the Arabian Sea. Her last words to her family, that she was safe, happy, and would be in touch soon. Since then, nothing. No calls, no sightings, no trace. Indian authorities launched a high-level investigation. Interpol got involved. Suspicions surfaced. Foul play, cult entanglement, mental breakdown, even terror links. Her travel companion, an ex-partner with a murky past, left the country alone just days after her last contact. And every lead that came in, from ATM sightings to social media tips, led nowhere. Lisa Wiese didn't vanish into thin air. Somebody knows something. And more than 6 years later, her family is still waiting for answers. Welcome to Bad Things. Join us as we retrace Lisa's final days, explore the swirling theories, and ask what most likely happened to Lisa Wiese. In early 2019, Lisa Wiese was 31 years old and standing at a crossroads in life. Born and raised in Flensburg, a town near Germany's northern coast, Lisa had once lived a very different existence. She'd worked in Egypt with a humanitarian NGO, converted from Judaism to Islam, married a man in Cairo, and moved to the United States, where the couple had 2 children. But by 2016, the marriage had collapsed. Lisa returned to Germany alone, a single mother navigating the ruins of a life she had once committed to. By all accounts, Lisa was a person in transition. Her sister Caroline Helling later described her as under psychological stress and said Lisa had been deeply involved in a small Islamic spiritual commune somewhere in Europe, a group she was now trying to distance herself from. It was clear to her family that she needed time, space, and clarity. A spiritual retreat in India, far from everyday obligations and the recent emotional turbulence, seemed like just a thing. Lisa wasn't unfamiliar with India. Back in 2011, she had spent 2 months at the Amritanandamaya ashram, also known as Amritapuri, located in Kerala's Kollam district. It was a place of meditation and serenity, run by the globally known spiritual leader Mata Amritanandamaya, or Amma. Returning there, Lisa believed could help her reset. According to Caroline, Lisa saw this as a chance to be free and take time to reflect on life. Her family, although surprised by her religious conversion years earlier, had remained supportive. Our family was astonished, yet tolerant and open to her choice of religion, Caroline later said in an interview. This time, she wouldn't go alone. Accompanying her on a trip was a man named Muhammad A., also known as Ali Muhammad. The nature of their relationship at that point wasn't entirely clear. Some sources describe it as amicable, others hint at possible tensions. But it seems Ali had offered to accompany her, perhaps for support or companionship. Together, they booked their flights, planning to land in Kerala and begin what Lisa framed as a personal pilgrimage. March 2019, arrival in India. Lisa and Ali boarded a flight out of Germany on March 5, 2019, transiting through Stockholm and Dubai. They arrived in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala's capital city, on March 7th, stepping into the humid heat of the Indian subcontinent. Lisa's immigration form stated her destination as the Amritapuri ashram in Kollam, but that's not where she went. CCTV footage shows Lisa leaving the airport on the back of a two-wheeler, a motorbike, shortly after arrival. The identity of the driver is unknown. It could have been a ride-hailing service, a friend, or someone she had arranged to meet. But that image, Lisa on the back of a scooter riding off into the unknown, is the last verifiable moment of her movements independently captured. In the days following, Lisa and Ali did not head to the ashram as planned. Instead, they stayed in Varkala, a beachside town north of the capital known for its yoga retreats and dramatic cliff-lined coast. The pair reportedly checked into a local resort where they shared a room and socialized with at least two other couples, one from Bengaluru, the other from Kerala. Whether this group had been pre-arranged or met spontaneously remains unknown, but police later tracked down and interviewed the couples. March 10th, the final phone call. On March 10th, Lisa made what would be her final known contact with her family. She called her mother in Germany and sounded cheerful. In the background, her mother could hear laughter and talking. Lisa was evidently not alone. She said she had reached India safely, her mother recalled. Lisa also mentioned that her mobile phone might stop working soon and told her family she'd be reachable by email from that point on. That same day, she also spoke to her two sons, who were in the UK. Everything seemed normal. But after March 10th, Lisa went silent. Initially, her family wasn't overly alarmed. Lisa had told them she'd be retreating into a meditative environment, perhaps off the grid for days or even weeks. This wasn't out of character. But then, an important date came and went. Her son's birthday in late March. Lisa didn't call, didn't email, didn't send a message. According to Caroline, that was deeply unlike her. March 15th, Ali leaves India. Lisa's companion Ali Mohammed left India on March 15th, flying from Kochi back to London via Dubai. His return matched the itinerary he had booked, but he didn't travel with Lisa. And Lisa, whose own return flight wasn't scheduled until May 5th, didn't show up at the airport. She wasn't on any flight, nor was she listed in any hotel registry afterward. She simply vanished. Whether Lisa and Ali parted ways before March 15th, or whether something happened in the days leading up to his departure, is unclear. Indian authorities would later state that they were unsure of what Ali knew or didn't know, only that he was the last confirmed person to have seen her. May 30th, the alarm is raised. Back in Germany, Lisa's mother could no longer ignore the silence. On May 30th, she filed a formal missing persons report with the German consulate in India, which in turn forwarded it to Kerala police. A formal request to trace Lisa was sent to the state police chief, and a missing foreigner alert was issued. But by that time, Lisa had already been missing for nearly 3 months. Indian authorities, perhaps eager to avoid a repeat of the Ligas Gromain case from the year prior, where a Latvian woman was murdered after going missing near Thiruvananthapuram, sprang into action. A special investigation team, SIT, was formed in early July. The first steps were logistical, checking immigration records, verifying Lisa hadn't exited the country, and contacting local hotels. That process revealed something important. Lisa never checked into the Amritapuri ashram. The ashram had no record of her or Ali arriving in March. That meant the stated destination had been a red herring, or at the very least, a plan that had changed. The Varkala clue. It was only through local police work that authorities discovered Lisa and Ali had stayed at a beach resort in Varkala. The resort had neglected to file Form C, a required document when hosting foreign nationals, so their presence there hadn't shown up in national records. Resort staff later confirmed that Lisa had stayed there with Ali in mid-March and had checked out around that time. This became the last confirmed sighting of Lisa Wiese. Police searched religious centres, yoga retreats, temples and train stations throughout Kerala. They followed up on alleged sightings of Lisa in shopping malls and at ATMs, but none were substantiated. The leads dried up quickly. The international dimension. On July 8, 2019, Interpol issued a yellow notice for Lisa Wiese, an international alert used to help locate missing people. A few weeks later, they also issued a blue notice for Ali Mohammed, essentially a formal request to gather information from a person believed to be connected to a case. Ali, now back in the UK, was questioned through Interpol. The contents of that interaction have never been made public, but it was clear from police statements that they believed he might hold crucial information. And then, another twist. According to Indian news outlet India Today, Interpol informed Kerala police that the NGO Lisa and Ali had once been involved with in Egypt might have had extremist affiliations. No specifics were given, but this development added a new layer of complexity and potential danger to the case. 2020 to 2023. Lingering silence, sporadic movement. The COVID-19 pandemic interrupted most international investigations, and Lisa's case entered a dormant phase, but it was never closed. In April 2022, Kerala police announced they were reviving the investigation, reaching out again to Ali and exploring the possibility of sending officers to Europe. Despite international collaboration, tips, and formal diplomatic pressure from Germany, no new evidence surfaced. Lisa's Google accounts had been deleted, and her phone remained off, a digital void that investigators found chilling. A vanishing without answers. To this day, Lisa Wiese's name remains on Interpol's yellow notice list. Her visa expired without use. No body was found, no financial activity traced, and no confirmed sightings occurred after she left the Varkala resort. She seemed to have vanished in broad daylight in one of the most densely populated states in India. Her mother and sister still believe she didn't disappear voluntarily. She wouldn't have left without telling us, Caroline Helling said. And with every passing year, that statement only becomes more haunting. The disappearance of Lisa Wiese in India has triggered a wide range of theories, from the tragic to the conspiratorial. With no clear crime scene, no physical evidence, and a trail that ends at a beach resort, speculation has filled the void. Investigators, family members, and the online public have each proposed scenarios, some grounded in plausible human behavior, others reaching into murkier territory. Number 1. Voluntary disappearance. A new life somewhere else. One of the earliest theories, though firmly rejected by Lisa's family, is that she chose to vanish. In this view, Lisa was overwhelmed by personal crises. The end of her marriage, her spiritual searching, her disillusionment with a religious commune. She may have seen India not just as a retreat, but as an escape hatch. India, after all, has a long history of attracting Westerners seeking reinvention. From the Beatles in Rishikesh to today's ashram hoppers, the country is often romanticized as a place to shed past lives. Supporting factors include that Lisa was under psychological stress and had been distancing herself from a religious group. She deleted her Google accounts and went offline. She also told her family she'd be off the grid, a move that might have been preparation. However, critics of this theory, including her family, point out that Lisa booked a return flight for May, had made no arrangements for permanent custody of her kids, and was open with family about her plans, unlike most people planning to disappear. "I know my sister," said Caroline Helling. "She would never leave her sons like this. Never." Number 2. Accident or misadventure. Could Lisa have fallen victim to a tragic accident? Perhaps she slipped while walking along Varkala's steep cliffs. Maybe she drowned or became disoriented while hiking and collapsed in a remote area. This theory rests on the idea that no crime occurred, just bad luck and unfortunate timing. Kerala's lush coastal terrain can be dangerous. In a separate case from 2005, a US tourist disappeared in a remote waterfall area and wasn't found for months. And while Kerala is populated, there are still pockets of wilderness where a person could vanish. However, this theory also faces challenges. No body or belongings were ever recovered. Lisa was reportedly last seen leaving a resort, not exploring wilderness. Indian police did conduct searches in Varkala and nearby areas, to no avail. Had Lisa died by accident, it's likely that someone would have found something, especially in a region with significant tourist traffic. Number 3. Crime of opportunity. Another possibility is that Lisa was the victim of a random criminal act. Robbery, assault, or worse. This was the fate of Liga Skromain, a Latvian tourist murdered in Kerala the year before. She too vanished from a coastal area while seeking spiritual healing. Her body was found weeks later, evidence of a brutal killing. In Lisa's case, no such evidence exists, but she was off the grid, traveling without tight oversight and staying in an unregistered resort. Some believe that after Ali left on March 15th, Lisa may have continued traveling alone and run into the wrong person. Supporting this theory is the fact that after the resort stay there were no confirmed sightings of Lisa. Her digital footprint had also been scrubbed. An action that may have been carried out by someone else, suggesting an effort to conceal her movements. Additionally, Kerala police did interview known local criminals in the area, indicating they were considering the possibility of foul play, though these inquiries ultimately led nowhere. Still, there's no indication of theft, struggle, or cover-up. If it was a crime, it was cleanly executed, leaving no visible trace. Number 4. Foul play by Muhammad Ali. This theory centers on Ali Muhammad, Lisa's travel companion and former partner. It posits that he was directly involved in her disappearance, either deliberately or as the result of an argument that escalated. He is viewed with suspicion for several reasons. He was the last known person to be with Lisa before she vanished. Just days after her final phone call, he left India alone, raising further concern. Authorities officially named him a person of interest, and Interpol issued a blue notice in order to question him. What he told authorities through Interpol has never been publicly disclosed. It's unclear if he reported Lisa missing before departing. He hasn't spoken publicly, and family members have expressed frustration at his silence. The theory branches here. Some believe Lisa and Ali had a falling out, possibly tied to her leaving a spiritual group he was still involved with. Others suspect a calculated disappearance, perhaps to silence Lisa if she was threatening to expose something. Still, Ali has never been charged, and police have not called him a suspect. His travel was booked in advance, and there's no evidence linking him directly to harm. As one Indian officer said, he's someone who might know more. That's why we want to talk to him. Number 5. Human trafficking. A default theory in many missing persons cases, especially involving women abroad, is trafficking. Could Lisa have been kidnapped and forced into a criminal network? Authorities did consider this. Police alerted ports, border checkpoints, and train stations. But Lisa's profile doesn't match typical trafficking targets. She was older, not impoverished, and had entered India through official channels. Plus, no ransom was demanded, and no sightings suggested coercion. That said, the absence of evidence works both ways. Trafficking networks, if sophisticated, don't leave traces. Still, police have largely deprioritized this theory, and it receives less attention today. Number 6. Group involvement. Cult, sect, or extremist network. One of the more disturbing possibilities is that Lisa Wiese became entangled with a controlling or radical group, and that this connection either led to her disappearance or was the reason she tried to escape. Lisa had previously been part of a small Islamic spiritual commune in Europe, which she had grown increasingly wary of. Her sister Caroline said Lisa had become involved in the group after converting to Islam, but by 2019, She wanted distance from them. Her trip to India was framed as a chance to be free, which suggests not just stress, but a need to get away from something. Around the same time, a UK-based group known as AROPL, short for Assembly of the Returned or Reborn Order of the Phoenix Lord, was being discussed on social media as a cult-like entity with allegedly apocalyptic beliefs. Reddit users and one self-described investigative journalist linked Lisa and Muhammad Ali to this group, pointing to their former NGO work in Egypt and apparent connection to Crew England, where AROPL was said to operate. Claims from fringe sources describe the group as blending Islamic mysticism with eschatological prophecies and engaging in practices like blackmail, identity scrubbing, and digital coercion. One viral Reddit thread alleged that a woman matching Lisa's description had been targeted after trying to leave the group, though this was never confirmed by authorities. Separately, Indian police revealed that Interpol had warned them of potential extremist ties connected to the Egypt-based NGO where Lisa and Ali once worked. No terrorist acts were attributed to Lisa herself, and officials stressed that this was merely one thread of the investigation. Still, it raised the stakes. In this theory, Lisa was either attempting to escape from a group that had exerted psychological or ideological control over her, or she remained under their influence and encountered some form of internal conflict or silencing mechanism while abroad. The fact that Lisa and Ali listed a Hindu ashram as their destination, but never went, adds a layer of suspicion. Was the ashram just a cover? Were they planning to meet someone else? Importantly, this theory hinges on two key unknowns: whether Lisa was truly out of the group, and whether the group had the means or motive to intervene in India. There is no confirmed evidence of a cult abduction, no confessions, no arrests, but enough circumstantial data has kept this theory alive among both investigators and independent researchers. If true, this would be one of the most haunting explanations. Lisa disappeared not because she was aimless, but because she was running from something no one saw coming. Between March 10th and March 15th, 2019, Lisa Wiese disappeared in Vakala. There is no evidence that she ever left the area. The simplest and most plausible explanation, one that aligns with both the facts and the silence that followed, is that she met with foul play during this period, and that Muhammad Ali, the last person confirmed to have been with her, was involved. As already mentioned, Lisa had remained in contact with her family up until March 10th. From that day onward, all communication stopped. Her phone went dark. Her online accounts were erased. Not simply abandoned, but deliberately removed. This detail is central. Someone either wanted her digital footprint gone, or she did. If it was her doing, it would indicate a premeditated withdrawal from the world. If not, it suggests that whoever had access to her devices or passwords acted quickly to cover their tracks. The erasure came at a moment when she was still believed to be in close contact with Ali. That proximity cannot be overlooked. Ali left India on March 15th. He did not notify anyone of Lisa's absence. There was no call to her family, no contact with authorities, and no sign that he made efforts to locate her. It wasn't until weeks later that her disappearance was reported by her mother, not by the man she had traveled with. As already noted, Interpol had to be involved just to facilitate questioning, and to this day, no clear account of those final days has been made public by him. This is not a definitive accusation, nor is it a conclusion reached with direct evidence. It is, however, a scenario built on the most consistent alignment of known facts. Unlike theories that rely on complex networks, spontaneous strangers, or secret cults orchestrating cross-border acts, this explanation depends on a single relationship, a known time frame, and a silence that speaks for itself. It is likely that something went wrong between Lisa and Ali, whether a conflict, a moment of violence, or a decision made under pressure. Lisa, who had been trying to distance herself from a religious group she had once been involved with, may have come into tension with someone still connected to that world. If Ali retained loyalties or obligations that Lisa threatened, the situation could have escalated beyond control. What happened afterward remains unclear, but the most straightforward reading is that Lisa was harmed in Varkala, that the traces of her digital identity were deliberately erased shortly after, and that her body was concealed or disposed of in a way that has thus far evaded discovery. Ali's departure, already booked in advance, went ahead. He left alone, said nothing, and has remained silent ever since. This version of events accounts for all that followed: the total absence of contact, the lack of digital or physical traces, and the unwillingness or inability of the one person who was with her to explain what happened. No other theory fits so tightly with the known facts, or does so with fewer assumptions. While speculation remains, and must remain in any unsolved case, the weight of probability lies here. Lisa did not vanish into thin air. She vanished in a window of time where only a few people could have known what happened. And among them, only one was by her side when she was last seen.